Welcome back. This is Punched. On the table we have Armored Knights, Guderian Crosses the Muse by Grognard Simulations. We're going to talk about the turn 13 German operations and deliberate combat phases. Grand total, this took about 45 minutes to run through. Had a lot of things to think about. Primarily the action was with air attacks, though we did have a couple of heavy barrages and we had a deliberate attack down here across the bridge in the south. Not any earth-shattering conclusions, but useful stuff. So let's go over it. Let's start in the south, work our way forward. So starting in the south, we had an air attack by Stukas that actually caused a reduction in the fortified hedgehog down to just a plain old hedgehog in this area. So that started us off on a good note. Further north, we had an air attack that took out the remains of a French infantry battalion in that location. Up here in the northern part of the sector, the 2nd Battalion of, I believe it's 331st Infantry, they are officially having a bad day. They first get chased out of their deployment location by Stukas, get a retreat result, and then are actually taken out subsequently by another group of Stukas. So recall that the rules only allow for one ground attack or one close air support per hex per turn. But once you've retreated to a new hex, you can be ground attacked again. Same follows with heavy bombardment, I believe. Just something to be aware of, that you can chain these things together. Once you start getting an enemy retreating, that gives you a great opportunity to continue bringing the pain. Okay, we had one deliberate, let's see, the 10th Panzer Division Artillery was able to do a fairly decent job in this location. It's a prospective river crossing location, and they inflicted, inflicted a casualty step on the infantry battalion there, and they also took out the engineering battalion that was co-located with them. Sorry, engineering company, I should say. All right, you can see that the German rafts, the bridging units, have moved much closer to their kickoff locations to cross the Ardennes Canal. We'll come back to that in a few minutes. So moved up the bridging equipment. You can see additionally that we've created moved units, these out of supply units, into location to pop up some hedgehogs in the following turn, which will be fine. You notice that we've actually consumed all of the German hedgehogs. I feel that it's appropriate not to be limited in this case. So I'm using the French counters. A hedgehog is a hedgehog. You can see that I've done the same thing down here. It's interesting. Again, if I want to dig in sufficiently well, I think that should be a reasonable thing. Okay. In the south, I set up a deliberate attack. I wanted to have another go at the only standing bridge across the canal. And so let's see how that went. Let's see. Well, we had quite a bit going on here. So we had tried let's see, I think we wound up trying, there was a ground attack, then there was a heavy bombardment that did not do much of anything in particular, coming from 2nd, I want to say it was from 2nd Panzer, no, sorry, 1st Panzer Divisions. Divisional artillery tried a heavy bombardment, did not do much of anything. The deliberate attack itself was fairly significant. Not a whole lot on the ground. We had the infantry battalion, we had some assault guns from the Großdeutschland, and we had a a company of 88s. They were simply available and to throw into the mix. We also had support from the infantry guns over here from the regiment. 3 Stukas providing close air support, and we had up here we had the divisional artillery we had corps artillery, and we were able to take, let's see, yeah, we were able to take corps artillery in this particular case. So ultimately what we wound up with here is we wound up with 1.5 to 1 odds once we took the modifiers for the bridge and density modifiers and such. The Stukas were a positive, the bridge was a negative, the hedgehog was a negative. We did get very, very fortunate on our combat proficiency roll with the use of the 2 military intelligence points from the Corps, and also Guderian's, a leadership point from Guderian himself. And so we wound up with a 7 on the die roll, not bad. The Grossdeutschland is elite. So 7 plus 4 plus the leadership point. Long story short, we wound up with a 14. That gives us a +2 dice roll modifier. Let's see, +2 dice roll modifier, and we wound up with rolling for NSDAP Zeal. So the defender needed to take a retreat and a route check, and the attacker needed to take an extra step loss. So where we wind up on this is that fairly run-of-the-mill dice rolls. The Germans ultimately wound up causing I believe it was an engineering casualty. Engineering casualty over here. They had to take. They actually got 2 casualties, but the hedgehog soaked up one of them. By the way, the hedgehog went away because of the retreat. The French barely hung on with their route check, so they are still present and in the fight. And the Germans, for their part, they took an infantry step loss, and they lost the battery of 88s. I figured it was better to keep the assault guns for the attack. So that's pretty much it. One thing that occurs to me is, as the French player, I've been keeping this sector relatively sparse because I didn't think it mattered all that much, but it occurs to me I can make a half move, right? To deploy the assault rafts takes a half move. And the following major river assault, is treated as a deliberate combat, again taking a half move. So that gives me a half move to get to anywhere along this river line. And these are all empty hexes, which guarantees that the major river assault would be successful. And so that's kind of a big oops. I'm smacking my head a bit. If I understand the rules correctly, that means that I don't have to go at the obvious spot. I can just come on over here with appropriate infantry, for example, and get across the river. So that's fun. That's an interesting thing to come up with at this point. So I think the French are going to have to come out of their hidey holes and see what they can do about occupying these hexes. So that's it. Pretty much a straightforward turn. We had a lot of air. We had some artillery. We had a deliberate attack that was useful. The combination of the ground attack, the deliberate attack, the heavy bombardment preparation. Not that it did humongously well, but ultimately we reduced the fortifications to nothing in this sector, so that on a subsequent turn, if I want to get across the river, I'm much more likely to do so. French anti-aircraft was concentrated down here and did not produce any good results. That's another lesson for you as well, that anti-aircraft artillery in the anti-aircraft role is, it's not hopeless, but it's very unlikely to actually give you much of an umbrella. So, all right, that's it. Let me know whether you liked the episode, like the video or not. Of course, hit the like button if you will, and I'm very much enjoying seeing the numbers of subscribers go up. So thank you very much, and we will see you guys down the road.